Right, okay, hello. We'll give the jump a go. So here's the character that I've been using for the previous time. He's in a pretty basic, idle, quite symmetrical pose there, but that's all we need for this tutorial, I guess, or walkthrough. So, same as what I did the last time. Let's try and set. We've got some extra keys there. Let's just set some keys on our first frame. So hopefully just by hitting S, we should get a keyframe on everything, which it looks like we have. Everything that's keyable anyway, which is good. And I don't know how long this is going to be. Let's just see what kind of frames we get out of it. So if we've got a jump with the anticipation, then we can end up having the takeoff, the loop, and the landing. So just as a thought inside my head, if you do this, I'm going to go so let's say somewhere around 36 frames. I mean, we'll actually let's go for 40 to make it nice and simple. So we've got all of the files selected, and we'll just hit S again. So that should be all the frames done for the keys. So I've just selected that there, and that hasn't been selected. So let's have a quick look to see. Right, so quite a lot of them haven't. Right, so let's just draw a loop around everything potentially, and if we do a quick copy paste, so copy paste to all the frames at the end, hopefully that's now all of them done, which it seems to be. There's me cat scarpers. Right, okay, so let's go forward, to around 10 frames. Let's get this thing into some kind of pose maybe. So if we rock this backwards, get this forwards. Is that moving from? So I'm probably just going to speed this up, I guess, so you're not watching me actually do the animation itself. Maybe it's worth pausing it. Let's have him look up, because he's actually going to be jumping forwards, isn't he? So let's have him look forwards there. Should have all these fall back into a little shape. So and a little bit of jaw movement. So let's get him down into his anticipation, getting ready for the takeoff. And then he's going to push into the air. Let's see where the feet are. Are the feet taking everything? They are taking everything. Right, so we'll just do, or I'll just do my jump straight up into the air. If you want to do your jump forward, then obviously you're going to need to animate this moving forward. Keep the feet eye-keyed to the floor here, and move them forward that way. And then, similarly to what you've done for the moving floor, you'll have to take away the forward motion from here and apply backward motion to this floor here. What's not so important here, though, is that you need to do the timing, like how fast he's along the ground, because we're going to leave the ground pretty quickly. And to be honest with you, you'll get away with quite a lot here because there's going to be a lot of blending going on and it's going to be in the air anyway. So foot sliding and that isn't such a problem with doing this. So I'm just going to do my jump straight up and then a landing and then kind of the compression stuff. So there he is bending down. Let's have him pop into the air just within a few frames. So look at this, and then 1, 2, 3, let's say 5 frames. That's probably going to be a bit too quick, but let's see what we've got. So get him into the air. And back down again on 20. And then we'll just spend another 5 frames. And back again, and then back down to 40. So yeah, that feels very quick for a jump there, I think. So I suspect that feels like you should be in the air for a bit longer. But the landing is okay, so let's make this 60 instead. Grab all of these. Yeah, don't know what they were, but let's just get rid of them. So the jump itself is probably a bit too quick. So if we move all of these backwards a few frames, and maybe 20 is too long, so drag him into there, drag that to that. Does that feel a bit better? Let's have a look. That feels a bit slower now, doesn't it, I think? So 1, 2, one of them, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That feels a little bit slow at the end, so if we just knock them back 1 frame, 2 frames there. Just trying to get the timing right, essentially. I think it's coming down a bit slow there, so I think what's happening here is that this takeoff here is actually less frames than the landing, so let's move that back a couple more, see if that's any better. That'll do. So we've got a very basic jump there. Let's have a look at the feet and try and get them timed a little bit better so they don't, so you don't get this horrible stretch here, because obviously there's a bit too much there going on in terms of intersections and that. So I don't want the feet stretched out that long. It's doing some nasty things. So hopefully, a jump, push, they happen quite quickly, don't they? So if I just hit the keys on that, and then here they should be off the ground. So let's get them to maybe just 1 frame past the halfway mark. Let's get them right up there into the air. So they're pushing off, and hopefully back down on the ground again to actually absorb the impact. So that may be a bit too late. We'll just have a look. So they take off, tucks into the air. This one, or the two front ones are probably well, the back one there as well then. So yeah, a little bit too much going on there with the legs. Only one's gone down at the right time, so That's probably 0 to be fair, isn't it? And so was that one. And so was that one. So let's see what happens here. These need to be in the air a lot sooner because they're basically braking, aren't they? Just mess around with the curve, hopefully. And yeah, that should be back on the ground a bit earlier. So should we move them back? And this one as well. I guess we could possibly. This one's leaving a bit late, so even that first jump there, you can see that first frame is not nice, is it? It might be a little bit further out than the rest of them, which is why it's causing that issue there. Could bring it in a little bit. Oh, maybe not. So it just means he's got to leave the ground a little bit earlier. So if we grab a hold of that, move that back maybe. Have him jump a little bit earlier. We could get these to come in slightly. So if they're here for the takeoff, or there for the takeoff, certainly on this one, jump in maybe, just bring that in for the jumps. And then back out again before they land. That looks like it's a translate X. So just probably going to be doing a fair bit of copying and pasting here. Oops, wrong one. So that copy, paste. And the same thing for this as well. So translate X to that, copy, paste. And do the same with the back legs as well, I guess. So comes in and touches down with the landing. So let's just hit S for that one, S for that one, and at some point here bring them in maybe, little offset. Perhaps just give this timing a little bit difference. That one, let's move that forward one. And change the height slightly. So he's about there maybe. So all these little things just to kind of make, to give a little bit of asymmetry, I guess, to the character. That's stretched too much now. So the jump, he needs to be a little bit higher up, so just change the curve there. Moving back maybe. So there's that bit done. Maybe when we get this, just rock it backwards so he's curve. Push. bit of a bend. So when he reaches the top there, perhaps a little bit more of a bend. Can we have it slightly tilted when he lands? Bit more compression. Do the same with this one. Let's just move that one back, that one forward. And maybe the same with the head here as well. So rotation wise, I think it's just in Y, it is just, oh sorry, just X I mean. So perhaps tilt it down here, so it goes down, looks up. And then when he actually looks up, that's the takeoff point. So downward to the ground, so look up. That feels like it's probably a bit too much. So we've got a jump there starting to happen. I guess could spend a bit more time sorting out the actual jump itself. I don't know, let's have a little bit of a mouth opening here as he jumps perhaps. Stays open until he lands. And a quick, that's within 3 frames, a quick shut there. And you know, let's sort these out as well. So as he crouches down, they all come in. The jump there, I might space them all out a bit. Tucks them back in again. Landing spaces them out. And then back in. What we probably want, yeah, we don't kind of want this loop going again, do we? So maybe just some small sections there just to bring them back to what they should be. And right at the end, yeah, just copy those frames. So copy, paste. So just some movement there of the skin kind of settling down again. And we could carry on and do whatever this is. But start frame and end frame is still the same, which is good. And we've got some kind of jump here going on. What's the wrong one? So can we just get rid of the controllers? Yep. So there's our there's our character jump there. And that is, obviously with a bit more work, we've got the jump now, so we've got the idle into the anticipation to the actual jump itself, the landing, like the compression when it lands, so the feet are absorbing the weight of the landing, and then back into the idle again. So that could be your jump. That's obviously, the timeline is a bit longer than the actual jump itself, so let's just go and have a see if we can. I guess we could just add a little more of a bob to that, but really I don't want to go too much more past past what we've got, because we're probably not going to use it anyway. So, and then back up again. Just change that. How was that? 50, let's say. And let's just grab these, just to kind of put them back to the start frame. So copy, paste, get rid of them, and bring this timeline down to 50. So we could play with this for a while, but hopefully by now you've got the idea of what we actually want. So the takeoff, the bit in the middle that we haven't done yet, and the landing. So that is our jump animation for this character. Don't know how long that took, whatever, 15 minutes something to do that to get a basic jump. I realise that the people who are doing the dog-like creature, the bear, this is going to take a bit longer to do that, but that is our jump. So I'll just say that under a different file name so I don't lose it. And jump. So we'll call that jump complete. Okay. Right, so now the decision is, where in this animation do we want to break out and create our loop? So around here, somewhere around the middle, we need to create where we want our loop to happen. So he stays pretty vertical, so we could get to this point here where it's a bit tucked up, and this could now be our loop. Or if you wanted to, you could have it a bit further down, and our loop could be obviously not touching the ground again because it's absorbed that, but our loop potentially could be, that's 23, that's 19, so really anywhere between 19 and 23. So let's go for 22. So I want my loop to be somewhere around or on frame 22. This is where I want to inject my loop part of it. So select everything that is hopefully part of this, and just set a key on everything. So hopefully we've got a key on all of our controllers now, just by having a quick poke around, just randomly select some of them. It looks like we have a key on everything, which is good. These kind of things here where that ideally would be something like that instead, you're probably going to find out that it's unless that is way out, you're probably not really going to notice any difference. But if you want to spend the time just sorting those kind of things out, there's going to be issues where you might need to do a little bit of tweaking to get your curve to look nice. Now, don't forget that if you jump on a flat surface, so you take off and land on the same height, then we're never going to see this loop. So it may be worth spending a little bit of time just going through all of these and just making sure that there isn't any, really big differences to what's going on. They should be quite minimal, as long as you don't have one of your settings set to something strange. But the default keyframe should be the Bezier stuff, so it should work out all right. Okay, right, let's select all of our keyframes. So I said the version that I like the most is just basically getting everything out of the way and creating some space for this loop. So let's just go up to 100. I really just want this out of the way. I don't want to do anything else with it. Select all those keyframes. It's probably worth writing down or remembering how many frames you've moved this by, because if you might want to bring it back that many frames, but really it's not essential. You can do it by eye a lot easier. So I'm just going to shift this way out of the way. So there's all those keyframes moving. You can see I'm starting to get this quite a big nasty curve here, and there's horrible things going on. But now we need to decide how long we want our loop to be. So I'm on 22. I don't know, 20 frames maybe, 10 frames. This hasn't got to be a huge thing. It's just going to loop and loop and loop. If you make it a really small number of frames, then obviously it's going to be quite erratic, or it's going to, he's going to vibrate essentially if you make these really quick. So something reasonable. I'm at 22. Let's go to 42. So along to 42, copy, paste, and we've got something really weird going on there. Just want to check that we have copied all the frames. So they're still there on 42, and they're here on 42. Other points, 42, 42. So it looks like we have copied everything that we need at the moment. Let's just zoom out. What you could do is select all of that. That will allow you to select all the handles. You could make them linear at this point, so literally nothing happens, and then the legs start moving. That would probably need to be straightened out, I guess, because you don't want the legs dipping down that much and going that far in. So that might be worth just selecting them and straightening them out a little bit. So whatever those ones are, don't need that one, I guess. Has that made it any better? So yes. So we've got this gap here of 20 frames. There's a little bit of movement going on, but we're going to get rid of that anyway. And then the very, very slow landing as it comes back in and then lands. If you wanted to at this point, you could move these back in. So let's see what we've got. So as I said, it's going to look a little bit strange now with, something's gone very strangely wrong there, hasn't it? What's happened? What's happened there? Oh, it looks like we've broke something. Right. We've brought in the all the other keyframes, haven't we? So it looks like I've grabbed a little bit too much. So the legs have gone a little bit crazy there, and then he's come in and landed. So it's being a bit bizarre. Right, 'cause it's those feet there flying up, isn't it? So how many feet are doing that? 3. So translate Y. And the last one. That should hopefully solve the issue for now. And there's us coming back together again. Feet not moving as quickly. Let's unselect that. And move them a little bit closer. So what do we have now? There's our landing. That crashed down, but the feet are a little bit behind there. So yeah, you can see here that there is a process that we have to chip away at. They haven't been moved there by the looks of it. I'm guessing at this point it could be worth creating a small selection set, maybe. Even then, they're probably still a little bit behind. So there's our leg slightly in the wrong place. I must have picked that up when he jumped. So the foot came in. And then just hung there and then landed. Right, so that would need a little bit sorting out. Is that I'm coming back in there? So maybe that could be, yeah. So the jump now seems to work. We've lost the inward movement there of that. But that's fine. We can sort that out. So what we have ultimately is this gap here in the middle. Let's see what that's attached to. That's the right leg control, right front. So it's this one here. Okay. Should we just move them out of the way for now? So the jump up, the slight outward movement, the loop, and then the landing. So if we just play this now and put it back to 73 frames we're at now. We've got the jump, we've got the loop there, and then the landing. So you can see how I mentioned in the lecture that hang time there in the middle looks a little bit strange now because we've got the section there in the middle that really shouldn't be there in the jump if you're just jumping on a flat surface. But with this bit done, we should hopefully, if we click on one of these, have a keyframe on 22 and a keyframe on 42. So we should be able to go ahead and animate some kind of loop in the middle, and the in frame and the out frame should now match, which they do. If I go 22 and 42, those frames still line up absolutely fine. So for this year, just do something in the middle as a loop. So I don't know, if you want to grab all four legs and just very quickly, if we move them all forward, Move them all down. Move them to there. And then look at 22 to 42. So 22, 42. It's a very bizarre loop, but there is now something there. Give it a little bit of a head tilt. So something like that, maybe. A little bit harsh. Let's just offset these a few frames. So move him back a frame, move that back, move that forward, and do the same with this one. 2 frames, 1. Make that a bit more, a bit high. So just to give it some kind of random feeling to what it's doing. Play it now. It's doing that. Maybe you want to give these a little bit of forward back motion. Bit more perhaps. Move him back, move him forward. Oops. Whatever. So, other way. It's looping, so it has something there. Obviously, again, you could spend a lot more time getting this to loop a bit nicer if you wanted to. There's some randomness to what's going on there. He's falling, essentially, so he's kind of doing this through the air as he's moving. That might feel a bit too slow or a little bit too fast. It's a chance for you to play around with the character, but we have the loop there working. So if we expand this back out to the full size of the animation, so whatever that ended up as, didn't quite go that far, did it? So did we get to, was it 73, I think I said? So if we play that now, is it going to play the whole? So we've got the jump, like the initial kind of anticipation there. We've got the jump, we've got the loop in the middle, and then the landing. So that's our 3 parts to the jump. You don't have to bring this closer together. It makes it look slightly more reasonable when we're doing the jump itself. So if you were to export this now, then you can see that the actual jump has height in it. And we want to get rid of that height element of what's going on. And as I showed there, this in the lecture, it's very easy to do. We need to find the controller. So the first one where we leave the ground is going to be the start of our sequence. So $12 or $13, I guess. Let's go for 13. On frame 13, just set a key on that element, and you're going to move it forward until it lands again. So I'm going to say frame 51. We've got that there. This is going to be a bit of a guess as well. You don't really know what the value are that you type in for how high you want this thing to jump. So you're not going to be able to counteract it unless you go backwards and forwards. So this may be some kind of tweaking that you're going to need to do later. So hopefully, let's get to here. There's our highest point. Really, if we look at this, so frame 19 is probably where we want to drag it down, but it needs to be around the same height as frame 13. So you could line your character up with like the edge of the window there, go to frame 19, and then just pull this element down until you're around the same place. Let's just do this height wise. So when you jump, we don't want that. When you jump, that's fine. And when you come back down to land again, so wherever we said it was, 51 is potentially our landing point there. He's coming down now, so it's only 3 frames there by the looks of it. Get rid of that. Have this match whatever this is essentially. So let's see if copy and paste, just nice and simple. So yeah, so you do the jump. It goes up to there, and then it starts to come down. We've got this height here. So actually, in fact, where our initial takeoff is, that could be a little bit too high. So this kind of initial pull down here could maybe just be that, because it sinks down to something a bit higher, doesn't it? There's our loop in the center, and there's our landing again. So you have that now. You have the initial takeoff. You have the loop where you want the loop to happen, and then we have this thing returning back to 0, 0 again, ready to absorb the landing. So hopefully, at this point, you can start going ahead and exporting your animation. So your first section would be from here, would be frame 1 to, I think it was 22, where we had our loop start, didn't we? So your takeoff would export from 0 to 22. Your loop would run from 22 to 42. And then your landing would land from possibly 42 to 65 we've got there. Was it a little bit later? 73 if we include everything. So it's around here where you're going to need to start messing around with your exports. You might find that when you land, just from looking at this now, you might find that kind of the landing animation doesn't quite fit. So you might want to, do 22 to 42, because that is definitely, that is your loop that you want to happen, so that can't change. But you might find that your landing animation is still in the air for a bit too long, so you might kind of need to export this from, let's say, 48 to 73 instead, or 48 to 65, or so. Just be aware that you'll need to go through this export possibly a few times to get it right, or you can do it in the engine as well. And when we start looking at the Unreal stuff, I can show you how to create new animations from animations that already exist if you need to make a shorter one, or we just change the timing in the jump itself. So you tell Unreal to start the animation a little bit later on or a little bit earlier to get these things to line up better. So hopefully that's given you an idea of what you need to do. I will go and export these now, and I'll see if I can get them into a game just to kind of see what they look like. At least as an animation anyway, and you can see what they look like as an animation. Right, okay, I'm going to speed this up, and I will get back to you once I've done all of the export. So here I am in the Unreal level. I have imported the Armored Mesh, so I can just give you a look at that. So there it is with all of these textures and normal maps, etc. Just have a look at the skeleton, and we are able to, all the animations are working on the jaw, and we've got the neck there, and everything else. So tail and let's think, even the neck jiggle has some movement there. So everything we've got, the mesh works. I might just be able to show the skeleton as well. So bones, if you just do all hierarchy. So there's the main hierarchy of this character here, and we just want to load the animations in. So get rid of that and that as well. I have the follows here, so I've got a complete animation, the land, the loop, and the start, which is what you saw me export there just a few minutes ago. So what I'm going to do is select them all and just drag them all in to this layer here. So let's just drag them across. Leave go. Because I've dragged them into the same folder where our skeleton exists, it's automatically populated the skeleton I want to choose as the Armored Mesh. You should just be able to leave these alone. You've done this a couple of times already. So hit import all and see what I've got. So let's have a look. So there is our jump animation with the skeleton. So I don't really want to, don't really need to see that, but you can see what's happening with the rig there. It has jumped this character down as he's jumped, and then back up again. So let's not show the bones. So selected. So you can see there that the jump itself doesn't have any height, but it does have that loop in it in the middle, so it looks a little bit strange. If I just show you the start animation, that's all it is. It's just that initial takeoff is all we're seeing up to the point where the loop starts. We'll play the loop. The loop's just this. So there's our loop animation running, and yeah, that will just go round and round forever until he actually hits something, and then at the end we'll play the landing, and that's the animation that will play when your character touches down again. So it will very much depend on you know, how your character lands and whether it looks correct or not when you actually hit the ground in the Unreal file. But those are our three main elements. If I just close this down for a second, I could potentially do an animation montage, which means that I can put some animations together. So if I just choose the armored skeleton and call it a jump montage, if we go into there, we can just load in the animations without the loop. So if we drag in start and then drag in land, hopefully we just get the jump animation now. So let's see what we've actually ended up with. So that's definitely hanging. You know, there is a point there where that doesn't feel quite right. So I would need to go back to Maya and then potentially export the animation a little bit differently. So from there, maybe let's see kind of what the shortest or the longest point is. So what looks like there, it's playing some of the loop potentially. So we could just go back in. So perhaps from, you know, that takes off, the body is landing somewhere around here. So we could either go in and reauthor the animation, or we could pull some frames out of this one and create a new animation from it. So what you're probably best off doing is going back into Maya and re-exporting it. But let's just say if we can make the animation here shorter inside of Unreal. So we probably want to take off, if that's frame 26, and we want to look at that movement there potentially. So let's have a look, 26 to 33, so about 7 frames off. Let's have a look at the jump land and go to frame 7. So that's where our movement is starting to happen. So go to frame 7. If you right click on here, you can do remove frames from 0 to 7, or you can remove the frames after frame 8. So I'm going to remove everything before frame 7. So now our animation just runs this long. So that's quite a brutal change to do that, obviously. It's hard to go back now, now that we've changed that animation. So if you wanted to make it longer in the future, we couldn't. We'd need to kind of bring in a new export again, which is why I said, you know, you want to probably go back and reauthor the animation again, or re-export it from Maya, sorry. So I'll go back to the montage. That might now play a bit nicer. So we've got rid of that floating section a little bit. But there's now a little bit of a snap with the legs, obviously, because we're going from this point to the next animation where they're actually touching the ground almost. So there's now a little bit of a glitch there where we had the animation. So again, we'd have to go back and try and solve that from within Maya by scrubbing through the timeline, seeing where that loop is, perhaps bringing the legs a bit later on the landing, or just exporting. Our animation ran from 42, so it's probably worth running the animation maybe from 45. So we take off at 22, and then at 45 is our new landing, or maybe even a little bit later than that. So you can see now what's starting to happen with the 3 animations to build up this element of how it actually moves. So yeah, hopefully that helps you with actually doing the animation and going around how to use this controller here to move up and down when you're jumping, to keep them around the same height. That's going to need a bit of playing with, and then deciding how you're actually going to create your loop. Are you just going to do it in the one Maya file and create your loop in the middle, or are you going to create a separate Maya file and do the loop outside? It's 50-50 the way you want to do it, I think. And then after that, you'll need to have a look at it in Unreal and just see how the various things work. So there's the start, and there's our loop, and there's the landing as it lands. And of course, there's the animation just exported with no differences. Okay, right, I'm going to leave it there. Cool. Enjoy Animex, and I shall see you in the labs or in the lecture in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye now.